Okay, so Brian, I'm going to ask you now about the new album. Why did you decide to call the new album Asylum?
Um, it is basically what's going on in society. It kind of wraps up the whole entire album. Um, asy- Asylum is a phrase that comes from one of the songs, 5 Minutes to Suicide. And in it, it says open air asylum. So if you listen to the entire album, uh, the song before, Apostle, uh, he's now standing on the corner. Have you heard the album?
Yes, I've got it. I've got to review it for you very shortly.
Oh, okay, cool. So the last, second to last song is Apostle, and he's now standing on the street corner going, "The end is near. You're all
Yeah.
fools." And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
he finds himself in the asylum where there's a veteran who's given up because he doesn't fit in society anymore. And this goes to the mental health, the drug problem, the gun problem, and every song preceding it is about the asylum.
Right. Okay, then. So, what other labels besides Massacre Records approached you? Obviously, Krugen got you the contract, I presume, because
Um, I'm not really sure. I wasn't told everything on this, but I was told by him that this would probably be the best option for us.
right. Okay, then. So, I mean, the artwork for the album's fantastic. I mean, the artwork was done by Ramiro. Is it Dias? Diaz?
DS, uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Who's he worked with before?
Halloween. So yeah, I drew up the album cover, and I gave him all the components that I wanted for it. And he's a graphic artist, so he took it to the next level and brought the jester back, and that's what you see before you.
It's a brilliant album cover. That's going to look fantastic as a tour t-shirt.
Yes, sir.
Is
I
it?
can't.
Did you have any other artwork? Because you said you drew up all the artwork. Was there any other pictures you drew?
I do. I have a bunch of it actually. If you get the CD, you'll see a bunch of different pictures in there. But Romulus did that. Um, you'll see after the album comes out, I'm going to be releasing one other piece of the album. So there's little Easter eggs in this album for the fans to find. And the last picture is a picture of Richie from Violent by Nature. He's now in the asylum with a straitjacket on. So
Oh wow! When you said Easter eggs, is that because I've heard that phrase before? Is that like a hidden song that people have to find?
there's little hidden tidbits in some of the lyrics and on the album, and that bring all three albums together. So if you look at the artwork and stuff, we'll see who can figure it out first.
Oh wow! So each piece of artwork for like the CD booklet's going to have like the lyrics with a picture that you've done different artwork, and at the end it'll all come together on the last
That,
page.
yeah, that he did. So he did that. And I do have another piece of artwork that I did for a single that didn't get released. So I have a bunch of artwork for this album.
So why didn't this single get released? What was the single called?
Uh, the single that we were originally going to call this something different, and it was Sentient. And that's when something is aware of itself. Um, and we decided not to go with that. And that will be on the next album. And I'm writing a song right now about AI technology and where it's headed and where we're headed as a species. Uh, we everything we do is on computer now.
Wow.
Everything.
So Asylum was the only title you had for this album.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so the album's got 9 songs on it. You got Punishment for All, High Anxiety, Seeds of Sorrow, Distortion, Bleeding Out, American Dream, Close to My Heart, The Apostle, and the 5 Minutes Till Suicide. So, what's your favorite songs on this album, Brian?
Jesus. This is a hard one because I really like this album a lot. I do like Punishment. I do like American Dream because played the lead on it.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Um, High Anxiety is one of my favorites. And 5 Minutes to Suicide, Apostle. And I have an underdog here, which is uh, Distortion. I think that's a killer song, kind of reminiscent of Product of the Past off the first album.
Okay, the album also features special guest Justin Steer. Who's he been with? What bands he play with?
He had played with a friend of mine called Rec DeFi, and it's a Canadian band. And he mainly does guitars, but we were in the studio without a real bass player. And I was like, oh crap, who are we going to get? So his name came up and I hit him up and he was kind of unfamiliar with the band as well. And when I found uh, Josh, I I felt kind of bad because Josh is a real monster of a bass player. So Justin did 5 songs on here on bass, and uh, Josh did the other 5.
Okay, right. That's interesting to know. So the album was produced by Alex Parra. Who's Alex Parra? I'm not familiar with his name.
I wasn't either, actually. So we, in the prior year and a half, we worked with Juan Ortega, who did the Testament album. We worked with Bill Matoyer, and we worked with Randy Burns. And uh, I originally was going to go with Bill Matoyer. Now, this some of the sounds and stuff that we were getting back was not what I wanted. I really wanted to stick with the original drums, uh, the guitar sound, all that stuff mattered to me. And Alex was a friend of Nathan, and he pushed him on me immediately. Dude, we got to get this guy. He's amazing. Blah blah blah. So I listened to some of his stuff, and it wasn't quite what I wanted. And he said, dude, just tell him what you want. He'll get it. So we did a couple songs with him, and I was just like, that's it, man. That's the sound we're looking for. So he's out of Atlanta, Georgia at Second Sight Sounds Studio.
Right then. So how long did it take to record this album? And did you write all the lyrics yourself, or was it somebody else
I,
take co?
I did everything as far as the lyrics except for Close My Eyes. And I did write the intro and outro to that. Um, yeah. So what was the other question? I'm sorry.
So how long did it take to record this album?
So we actually did it in under a year. I got COVID for 3 months, and then I had an upper respiratory infection. My computer blew up. But if you take all that away, it took about a year to write.
Right then. So did you write any of the guitar riffs? Because you used to, like you say, you used to play guitar. Did you come up with any of the ideas, or did you just leave it to the two guys
I
to do it?
I did, but they were not used on this album because Mark is such a prolific writer. Um, on the next album, I believe that's going to be different because I submitted them a lot earlier, and I now know what he wants. He wants more up tempo. I have a tendency to write the beginning of Rest in Pieces or some other stuff. I like that real dun, 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 that type of real heavy riff. So Mark covered all the guitar parts on this.
Right then. So how do you see this as a progression from the first two albums? Because they were recorded in the 80s, early 90s.
Um, I think again, I think the maturity of the writing is much better. I think the guitar playing is a little bit better, and I don't want to take away anything from Rick or Chris. Mark is a phenomenal guitar player. I think the drumming is probably a little bit more modern, not as much just double bass through the whole song. Um, So I think that's the big difference.
Right then, because I mean, yeah, it must have been hard for you to come back and try to keep the Atrophy sound
It was very hard, very, very hard.
because
Uh,
obviously you want to progress from what you were doing before, but you still want to keep the traditional sounds so the old fans recognize who you are.
Absolutely. In fact, we're talking about tuning to the key of E on this next album. This one's recorded one step down, which isn't too drastic or anything, but I definitely wanted to keep the original tones. Tonality is everything with music. If you change and use samples for drumming, it's going to change the whole record, and I don't like it. That's just my personal view on it.
Yeah, I mean, when I listened to this album for the first time last week, I've actually got it on my cell phone when I'm working out at the gym, so I've been listening to it a couple of times. But it really
Nice.
does remind me of a little bit of a band from California called Evil Dead.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's kind of got the Atrophy, Evil Dead. I don't know if you're familiar with. You're probably familiar with Evil Dead,
Of
Bobby
course, yeah.
Garcia's band. Yeah. So do you kind of agree with me on that?
Um, I don't know. I've heard a lot of different things of comparisons, and I think we all do that in our own brain. Uh, but that's okay, you know. Uh, my friend who introduced me to Mark, he said a little bit of defiance, maybe,
Oh yeah, I remember
uh,
those guys. Yeah.
in the vocals. But it's okay. Yeah, I think I can agree.
Yeah, because you've got to keep like I said, the old fans happy, but you've also got to modernize yourself without being too modernized like Machine Head. You don't want to be like no disrespect to Machine Head, but you don't want to be sounding like that.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I was deathly afraid of is getting too modern.
Yeah. So, do you think you're going to be touring this year? I mean, obviously the album's coming out very, very soon. You must have some tours, festivals in the pipeline.
So we just got back from Latin America. We toured with Violence, Hyrax,
Oh
and
yeah, cool.
Exhorder. Um, we did a mini tour down there in El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. And yes, we will be touring this year. Got some stuff out in California, but I really, really, really want to get back to Europe. That's my main focus.
All those bands you mentioned, I know all of those guys like Phil Demmel and shit. You know the Exorder guy. So that would have been that. I bet that was a killer tour for you.
Dude, it was amazing. Unfortunately, I'll go into it a little bit. So we had a tour. I was working with the tour guy for about 4 years, post pandemic. After the pandemic, we were going to go down for 2 weeks, and the bands that were going down before us kept canceling, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" Oh, it's no problem. Well, it turned out he was taking money from the promoters and not delivering. And I was one of those bands, unfortunately. And so this came up, and we were going to go ahead and rebook, but this mini tour came up, and I'm like, yes, let's take it. And the show they played just after that in Chile was off the hook. It's incredible. But yeah, I was very, very happy to play with those guys. They're all heroes of mine and just an amazing tour.
I mean, it must have been. I know the South American fans are very passionate about metal.
Yes, they are. They're very passionate.
Right. So I mean, at the minute, I mean, like I say, you're going to be touring hopefully Europe this year. But who would you like to support or play with if you had the opportunity?
Oh my God. There's so many bands I'd like to play with. Um, I couldn't even name them all. But yeah, I'd like to go out with somebody who's at least, at our level or above.
Overkill.
Uh, oh my God, yeah. Uh, Testament, Death Angel, somebody who, uh, you know, will both bring in people and make a good tour of it.
What about doing like a reunion tour with Sacred Reich?
That's actually come up before. Phil has been, um, he's cool about it, but he said, he didn't think the money would be there. I don't know exactly how much they charge, but I think that was one of the issues. But hell yes, I would love to go out with them. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it would be.
And,
So what sort of reviews have you been getting so far for this album? Have you seen
um,
anything? Have you
yeah,
heard
I have
anything?
9 out of 10. Um, I got 4 out of 5 yesterday. So all the reviews have been really good.
That's brilliant. I mean, how many videos? You've only released one video, I believe, so far on YouTube. How many songs are you going to release?
So there's one more song that's coming up. I believe that's on the 22nd of February. That's Seeds of Sorrow. We made another lyric video for that. It's in our contract for doing that. I would have loved to do a live um, performance video, but it's that gets expensive getting everybody together. So that'll be on the 22nd. Seeds of Sorrow. Yep.
Oh, excellent. So, do you think you'll be doing a live DVD, or do you think that's something? Are you doing any festivals this year?
Yeah. That is definitely in the works, and we're talking about that. I would absolutely love to do that. Um, so we'll see what the festivals bring and see what happens.
Well, if you need any photos from the Bradford show for a live DVD booklet, give me a call, man. I'll see what I can dig out for you.
Okay.
Like
Absolutely.
like a history booklet, like you've probably seen that metal church book I just got in the post. I mean, some of my pictures got published in it, so I was really happy to see some of my own pictures.
That's so cool, dude.
Yeah, it was good to be recognised for once in a while, you know.
Well,
But
dude, I mean, you said that we had spoke back in the 90s.
yeah,
For you to keep doing this, man, props.
thanks,
That's
man.
absolutely amazing. And thank
Thank
you for continuing on because we need all the help we can get. All the
I've done this.
bands
I've
do.
done this solidly now for 35 years without a break.
Wow.
Just fucking constantly fanzine, website, as you probably see my YouTube channel. So, but
Good for you.
I'm not going anywhere at the minute, brother. As you know, I work with Anvil's drum tech for those guys. So if you guys ever need a drum tech for a European tour, give me a call.
Okay.
So,
But
Brian, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. I wish you all the best with this fantastic new album. Folks out there, please check out Atrophy's new album. It's called Asylum. It's coming out soon. So, Brian, do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube before we go?
yeah, support this guy. Click the link, subscribe because people like him make our business go round. If you go to our Facebook page or Instagram, just give us a like and just want to say thank you to all our fans. They've been so amazing. And this album was promised 6 years ago. And I just couldn't get it done with the people we had. So I kind of took it into my own hands and here you go, guys. A gift.
Respect to you, Brian. Do you
Uh,
think this album would have been any different 6 years ago?
yes, it would have been much different. Um, so writing before, I didn't get a lot of input into the writing. Mark is very easy to work with. I do some composing on this album, and it makes it like old Atrophy, and it makes it uh, wonderful to sing on. So yeah, I think the time was now. I think this was the right time.
Brilliant, Brian. Well, have a nice day, my friend. Thank you for doing this interview. Please keep in
Thank,
touch
thank you, brother.
and please share this on social media when the interview is online. I'd much appreciate it.
Oh, I will. You bet you I will.
Right, I'm going to be reviewing the album today, so that should be online sometime tomorrow. But tonight, I'm going to put this interview online in the next couple of hours, so I'll send you the link.
And do not forget that live footage.
Oh man, I'll send you that live CD in the post. I'll send it by email to you.
Hell yes.
Cheers, brother. Keep in touch,
Hey, thank you
Brian.
so much, brother.
You take care, brother. Take
All
care.
right.
Bye,
Bye.
brother. Bye.
All right.